But here under strategy, I can say include islands to yes. And let's go to islands, and we're going to add this as actually island features. Now we don't want to use a non-crossing feature, so I'll delete that. Hit my delete key. I can right click delete as well. But I want to pick island features. And those island features are going to be those features that are underneath these clamps. And then there's one over here, kind of hard to see it, but roll it up a little bit. You can see there's a clamp fixture right there. This is that 6 chain. No, 7 chain. That's it. 7 chain goes around that. Perfect. All right, so I've got those features. All right, I want to avoid those, and we'll hit OK. See what happens. Toolpath we get now. Now, why did it not avoid those? Well, some of that could well be because of the way that we built those features. Those features themselves, if you'll notice, in fact, let's go to our layers, turn off our fixture. Of course, there's more than one feature, one for the inside, one for the outside. But at any rate, those features also don't have any thickness. That's one of the issues. So if I grab all 4 of those fixtures with my control key, and in the properties window, I'll go into machining, and let's give that a depth. Let's say that's minus. I'll put a minus in. I'll put it minus 1 inch or 25.4 millimeters. Okay, so now it does have some thickness. Now if we go back to our facing operation, let's make sure it's grabbing the right features. In fact, I'll get rid of these. And just go ahead and make sure we pick them graphically on the screen. This is one of them. That's one, and that's one. And let's hit OK again to see what happens. This one has a few more features, not a lot, but it's also got a little bit of drilling, got a little spiral milling, some contouring, some pockets. No surprise, if we go to CAD features, it's not current, so we can do a right click, restore the CAD file, and grab this 0 base part. This is the original base part. Open it up, and you see now it's current. Nothing changed. The model's the same. Everything's great. Now let's go back to our CAD reference file status. Check reference file status. It is current. Let's now update this. Let's change this a little bit by doing restore the link. Let's grab this one. We're going to modify one of the CAD features in this example. So when we do an update, you're going to see now one of the features changes. This feature down here changes, but you'll see the associativity of the toolpath changes with this because in essence it's the same feature that got changed. Unlike what you saw in the last part where a new component was added, here the existing component was changed. All right, let's do it again. So now we've updated this particular vise. So now we have a vise for our first operation, and now we have a vise that is prepared for our second operation when we flip the part over. So we go back now to TNG, and now what we want to do is, now that we've designed the vise around this particular soft jaw, now what we want to do is we want to machine this soft jaw. So now if we copy that operation to the next pocket, we do a paste. Let's see if we get anything in there, and we do. We get just those 2 corners. Let's look at the one in the middle. That's this 37 pocket. We do a paste on it. Now we get a warning. It's telling us that it doesn't fit, and that's because none of these fillets are the smaller fillet, so there's no toolpath to be cut, and that's fine. Go back up towards the top to the other pockets. That'll be these here. This one was next. We right click and we paste it. There we get toolpath just in those corners. In this case, 1 corner. And then do one in here. Paste it. And now we got toolpath in those corners. Good. And we want to talk about the direction that the path is following. Okay, so it is an offset to the left, so as it's cutting. The direction, by the way, is controlled by, I just want to point out the direction of cut is not in the operation, but it's controlled instead by the direction of the basic curve. So in this case, this 10 boundary, its direction is what determines the direction of that motion. Now if we go back in and do another operation, go back to milling, go back to wireframe, and let's change the tool now to, in this case, let's use the bullnosed end mill. So the tool now changes. There's our cutter. Clearly see it there. We'll leave the same settings on this page. Here we'll change this back to 5% of the tool, and we'll change that scallop height back to 1,000th. Actually, I'll make it a little bit smaller, 0.5 thousandth or 0.0012. Now, here's where we're going to start seeing some differences between these settings for the start and end types. I'm also going to change stock allowance to 0 here, and we'll hit OK. Now, see how it's going well beyond the part? So, in fact, I'm going to right-click and rename this. We'll call this rough, and I'll call this one finish. If we take a look at that finish again, you see how it's starting well before the toolpath, and that's this setting of before. Here we might want to start possibly vertical or normal. If you go horizontal, let's do it horizontal here. See how it's trying to get the full ball of the radius of the tool to start horizontal to the cut. So it's trying to establish basically kind of a flat floor, if you will. Let's go back to normal, see what that looks like. Okay, didn't change much. And let's tell it now, let's do the other one, which would be vertical. Now, see what vertical does is vertical actually starts in here and starts with the tool vertical so that the side of the tool is going to start at the top of the cut. Let's run a simulation of that, and we'll go back to our view and let's have it start right at this last operation. See, we're starting right there. I'll slow it down a bit so you can see what it's doing. Stop it again, we'll do it again. You see how it's going to start right there with the tool coming in and cutting along that edge. Okay, gets to the bottom. And because of the diameter of the tool, if we go back to here and roll it up, you see that the diameter of the tool is such that our settings will cause it to go ahead and make a path all the way around to clean up this floor.